We are trying to learn around the automation of the mobile apps using Maestro. Yes, I mentioned Flutter-based app, but it can be used for any specific app. Uh, and as Mehak was mentioning, I am an automation lead at Tide. No, Tide is not a detergent powder. That is the famous one, which we all know. So let me just quickly, go through what in just a couple of minutes, so that we know what Tide is not, not a detergent powder. It's a fintech, which helps the business owners, save some crucial time with respect to what they do on a day-to-day basis. I'll share the screens, slides as well later on with all of you. It curates some, very important financial products for all the small business owners across the world right now. What does it do? Is, as I mentioned, it's a fintech scale-up and then trying to serve the small business owners. Right now, Tide has 10% share in the UK market. That means every, one in the 10 UK small business owners are using the Tide app, which is a great news. We also have the product in our Indian SME market, which supposedly happened to know that it is just about reaching the 1 year mark. We just finished the 1 year mark yesterday, I believe, as we speak. Our engineering team is multicultural, available all across the world, from UK to Bulgaria and India, both in Hyderabad and Delhi. There are people who are also remote, like from Poland, and you might be interested to know that from Ukraine as well, there are engineers who join and work with us. Officially, we have offices only in the UK, Bulgaria, and India, but there are remote working people who are working alongside from Ukraine while the war is going on. Enough of that. Let's move on. This is again some immaterial part with respect to who I am. As I'm Subhash, and I am also an Cambridge alumni, recently completing one of the prestigious certification programs for an year from there. My main focus is about getting or solving the automation challenges using the new age tools. Something that Tony was also mentioning. I would try to reach out to him to learn more on that. So those are the my forte. Apart from work, I am a 5-time half marathoner. More specifically from Hyderabad, with my wife and 2 kids. I generally travel all across the world, try to explore and learn more. So as I mentioned at the start, I believe in people and learn together. So that's what I try to do while traveling. So what about Maestro? What is it? So why did I use Flutter at the start, right? So as Tony was explaining, we will have to evolve ourselves from how we evolved from our computer Excel days to the Selenium days, right? From Selenium Appium days to what's next. So that's what is Flutter and Maestro is about. So Flutter is the new age technology which helps us to develop mobile apps. It's a development framework which helps us to develop mobile apps, and they don't need to be multiple code bases for that. Like for example, if you have heard about the native mobile apps being developed in Android using Kotlin, and for Xcode using Swift UI and all that, it just increases a lot of time taken for that. A lot of resources added, and maybe higher rates of releases. Everybody wants definitely faster releases, and that's where Flutter helps us. So currently, at Tide, we are doing this POC with with Maestro to understand if Maestro is good enough tool, and I'm definitely happy to share that it is. The reason for that, why Maestro is a pretty good tool, is it's again based on their predecessors of Appium. I mean, we all know Selenium and Appium is been there for a long time, and they have done a lot of things. Taking a cue from there, the mobile.dev team who have developed Maestro, they have improved on APM to reduce the time taken to code a particular use case and build it faster. So it's pretty simple to use, very easy to set up. So I don't have to spend more time to set up your machines right now. It uses declarative syntax, but yet it is very powerful in terms of how it works. It's just plain English and plain languages, as we know in the world of AI, that we are trying to uh, get into less codes and more faster outcomes from what we want. It's also, as I was mentioning, because of its powerful nature of declarative and the powerful syntaxes, there is no code compilation needed. I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to know that, to get away with all of the compilation errors that might come. It's an interpreted language, and it can execute while we are making any change on the fly. So I hope you have all got your prerequisites with respect to, what Harsh had shared with you guys. Uh, Having your machine set up with Java and stuff. At this hands-on workshop, I would pick up anyone who is interested to share the screen and start doing it from there. I don't want to do it on my part because that's not I want the workshop to be done. As it's an hands-on workshop, I will help you guys to understand Maestro and try it out. So to do that, first thing we would need is to set up the emulators and simulators. If you have Android Studio, which was also one of the prerequisites in Sentin, if anyone has it and volunteering to start that, then we go ahead with the installation. So anyone is there volunteering?
Yeah, anybody who would like to do it with Subhash here, guys? Any volunteers who would like to get their hands dirty now?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Tide is not a detergent powder, but I'm using the one of the very famous detergent powders ads. Let's
Yeah.
get ourselves hand dirty.
So we have Avinash saying yes. Avinash,
Cool. Let me stop my screen share. Avinash, you are able to share your screen.
I guess,
Okay.
but I need Android Studio for this. I just forget it's not installed in this laptop, so I can't go forward with this. Sorry.
Okay. No problem. No worries. Do you have Xcode with you?
Need to install that also, but
No worries. Anybody else who has these set up?
Subhash, you'll have to do it on your own, looks like. So go ahead.
Yeah.
You can show, yeah.
Yeah. No problem. So let me share my screen back.
We
Yeah,
we have
Bayagi.
Bairagi. That would be good. Bairagi, do it.
No.
Yeah.
I have a question. Not just I see. I have a Windows machine, okay, and running Xcode will not run on that, and Android Studio will be tough running that thing. So,
Yeah.
is it a high-end machine required to run the Flutter or with Tide and all, or I need
Definitely an
only a
high-end,
MacBook for that?
definitely an high-end machine would be recommended, but Xcode and iOS you will not be able to run it on your Windows machine. But certainly Android Studio you can do it.
Okay, so if you can please mention the configurations, that will be great actually, so that
Yeah.
further we can go on. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Sure. So on Windows machine, if you can just install Android Studio while we speak, and there was a prerequisite document that was sent to you people with respect to PowerShell, which is needed on your Windows system. If that's not there, try to install that. And all of this, I'm not telling it on from, my own experience, but in addition, it has been mentioned in their documentation, which I can right now open. I hope you're able to see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Cool. So yeah, this is their documentation. I can share it across. It is pretty good, very detailed, and you can use whatever is mentioned there. So to install Maestro, the first step is to run this command. As I speak, if anybody is trying to do it at their end, I'll be much more happier because it's already installed on my machine. So even if I run it, it will just upgrade.
And this has to be done on PowerShell, right?
Yes, if it's on Windows machine, PowerShell. Yeah, few other prerequisites that I would like to share here is about using Android Studio, and as I was talking about that, and with Android Studio, you would also need Android Home to be set up as one of the environment variables. Of course, you need Java and then JDK for the execution parts. Okay, so this is a simple command to install Maestro, which you guys are wanting to run. Still, anyone who is interested to try this out, because a lot of commands that I'm trying to share here is already done at my machine, so I'll not be able to share with you exact parts. Maybe Harsh or Mehak or any volunteers from there.
I can try, but my problem is that my laptop basically right now is running all the Zoom and all. And if I do it, I am worried that the entire system might crash. So otherwise, I would have been a game here, Subhash. So I have PowerShell
No
and all
worries.
installed, but I'm scared basically because if I go ahead and do it and then the Zoom crashes, we will lose the conference part. So my request,
No
please go
worries.
ahead. That would be best. Yeah, let's keep on running the show. That's what my request would be.
Sure. So you run this command and it just gets Maestro installed, as you can see on the terminal. So I've
But
not
guys,
updated.
this is a great opportunity for somebody to do it with Subhash, and I really appreciate the way that he's trying to do this workshop. That is the right way to do it. If anyone is interested, this is your opportunity to do it and learn with him right away. Yeah, I think Divya raised.
Divya? Yeah, Divya.
Yes. I do have Android Studio, but I don't have much coding knowledge.
That's fine. We don't need coding knowledge. That's the gist
Okay.
behind using Maestro.
Okay. Okay, then tell me what to do.
Okay, can you go ahead and share your screen?
Okay.
I've made you the co-host, Divya. You would be able to share your screen now. So, guys, one just request. It's like if you want to share your screen, just call me and I'll make you the co-host. And also, I believe that you guys can unmute yourself and ask questions. So it would make it more interactive.
Yeah. We'll be here for 90 minutes, guys. So
Yes.
let's
So
not
make sure that
have only.
yeah. Let's keep it interesting, and the way that Subhash is trying to run this is amazing. So make sure that you can utilize this
So,
wonderful
Divya, if
workshop.
you want, you can go ahead and share your screen. Okay, I think your screen is up
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Great. So do you have Android Home set up as your environment variable, Divya?
Android Studio.
Android Home as an environment variable. Can you?
I need to check the environment variable
No
then.
problem. Can you try running this command? I'll just give you all the commands on Zoom
Android
chat.
Home, yes. If you can see my
Um,
screen,
Yeah, it
yes.
looks like it is set up. Yeah.
Yeah. So on your
it
terminal.
is good.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good.
Okay.
So if you can
Yes.
run the command that I just shared to you on
Okay.
the
On
PowerShell.
Windows PowerShell.
Yes.
Okay. Let me get that first. Which command? ADB version.
Yes.
Okay. ADB is I think not installed.
Right. So if you can go to Android Studio, please. You
Yes.
have it open.
Yes.
I am not seeing it. Okay. Yeah. So over here, let me pull out. Yeah. Over here on the help, just type in install ADB commands. There's an help around about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Find action. If you type, go to find action.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yes.
type, yeah. Just type install ADB commands. Yeah.
Okay. There is nothing here. Install ADB.
Just, yeah. Great. So this is exactly what I wanted because, from this stage, we will be able to learn how to do it.
Okay.
So now again, from under tools that is there, you see tools window.
Yes.
Right. So over here, can you scroll down and see SDK manager?
Right.
Yeah.
Click on it.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, select any particular latest one, like probably 11 or 12. Yeah, 12 and 32 should be good.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you
This
install
one?
that?
Okay. This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see a download
I'm
button
clicking
right?
on apply.
Yeah. Do you see a download button next to
Yes.
checkbox? Yeah. Can you click on that?
Yes, just from left side. Okay.
Right. So now click on apply and okay. Yeah.
Okay.
It will just take a couple of minutes to get this installed.
Okay.
In the meantime, I'll also, set up, I'll share some more commands for you to set that up.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it should be faster than this, but yeah, I agree. In some machines and internet speeds, sometimes it's a bit slow, but should be okay.
Yes. On my system, it is really slow. Maybe I used it like 2 years back.
Okay, no worries. So do not worry, we might get into some issues. That's what we want. That's how we learn. I mean, I assume that's how we learn. And let's try to get into issues and try to solve them. So environment variable you have set up. And yeah, once this SDK component is also installed, we will all be ready.
Okay.
Yeah, in the meantime, as this is getting installed, anybody has any Any questions from Flutter or Maestro? What it is? More theoretical based questions before we get into the practical sessions. Or maybe what Tide does apart from washing clothes. Right.
Is Flutter is like React?
Yeah, I see question from Komal as well, which is similar to your question, Divya. So it is not React, but it is similar to React. It is based on a language called Dart, and Dart is based on language called as yeah, a very famous language, I mean, of course, which is JavaScript. It's a next level of JavaScript with respect to Dart. It's easy to code, as they say, and one code base for both Android and mobile.
Okay.
There are a lot of companies now which are adapting to Flutter just because of the same reason, as in you don't need to have two different resources, two different code bases to manage all of your mobile development part. It's finished, and if you need more knowledge about Flutter, I'll send you one YouTube link where I had talked about Flutter and what Flutter does. You can go over and then view that. Yeah,
Okay,
click on
great.
finish.
Yes. And I can close this settings
Now,
window.
no, just click on apply and OK again. It's installed, so we just wanted to make sure it is all done.
Okay.
Yeah, click on OK. Right. So now, again, if you open the simulator, there's a play button which is shown there, right next to your pixel.
Yes, this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Simulator is just about to launch. While it gets launched, can you go back to the Windows PowerShell and type the command again, ADB version.
Okay. Do I need to reopen this one?
Yeah, on the safer side, yes.
What?
Yes, and just close this and open it again.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Can you run the same command, ADB version? That's a YouTube link where I have spoken about the Flutter and other parts if you want to learn more.
ADB version. Okay. Okay. ADB.
Okay, so I see what the problem is. If you can go back to your environment variables.
Okay. Yes. In system variables.
Yes. Under the one which you have as Android home, can you edit that and open that location,
Okay.
user variables? Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
variable
Copy
value.
and
You want
yeah,
me to open the
no,
directory?
yeah, yes.
Okay. Yes.
And yeah, if you go under lib,
Lib.
okay, there's nothing here, right? Can you go back and go to bin?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you search for ADB here?
ADB.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we don't have ADB in here. Nothing.
Okay. Can you go back again, one level back? Okay. Search from here so that it gets searched
Okay.
across all the folders. Yeah. You can press enter. Nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening. I've already pressed it.
Sorry, probably Zoom problem. Not able to hear you correctly.
Okay. Can you hear me
If you
now?
search, yes, better.
Yes, yes. I already clicked on the search button and pressed enter several times, and nothing is
That is
happening
strange.
here. Yes.
That's strange. Should not
I think
happen.
he needs to install Android tools.
Yes.
I think it is installed. Can you go back to Android Studio?
Android Studio. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Under tools,
Under tools. Yes.
if you go to SDK Manager, you have already installed, so it should be installed partly. Yeah. Can you click on that SDK Manager once again?
So do I need to reopen this Android Studio?
No, that's not needed.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah. If you go to SDK Tools tab on the next, if you see SDK Platforms,
Yes.
SDK Tools, yeah. Over here, you have Android emulator, you have Android SDK platform tools. There's an update available. Can you just scroll down? Android build
That is all.
tools. Right.
That is
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
The
Can you
command
select,
line tools are not installed, correct?
yes, Bhairavi.
Yeah, the
So
third one, Android SDK command line tools, that needs to be installed,
Okay.
if I'm
So
not
do I,
wrong.
just select on that. I mean, click the checkbox.
this Android SDK command line tools.
Yes.
Okay. Install.
Yeah.
Download.
Yeah. Click on apply.
Mm.
Sorry guys if I'm taking a bit more slow and stuff. Once we get into Maestro, it is much more like, quicker. You don't need to spend time there. So probably let's spend time here where we understand the
Sure.
configurations of
I
it.
think this is going good. Yeah. Thanks.
I think it will take maybe 5 to 10 minutes to download.
Don't think so. It should be faster. But again, yeah, depends on, machine to machine. Okay, but
Yes.
in the meantime, you can run the command that I gave you earlier, which is, let me just quickly check out if it's there on the command prompt, Zoom tab. If not, let me send it across. Yeah, I just sent you another command on Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Can you run
Okay.
that once?
curl-ls, right?
Yeah. Would you need curl, I think?
Okay. So parameter cannot be found.
No problem. Good to know that
So,
we have some issues. Can you try running this?
Yes.
I gave you another command.
Okay, WSL install.
Yeah.
So guys, along with Divya, if you have any queries, you can just unmute yourself.
Yes, please. Hope others on the call are also following and trying to install this if anybody has that. Did anyone try to run the curl command? Thanks, Avinash. The curl command to install Maestro, did anyone try doing that? You can unmute and speak up if anybody is trying to speak. Bairagi, I think you are the next active person, so I'll pick your name. Sorry for that, but hope you are trying to run the command.
Yeah, I'm trying it. Actually,
Yeah,
I've joined from iPad, so I'm typing manually. So
yeah. Okay, I think it is trying to take more time. We'll need to go back to go back to the terminal or the PowerShell. If you can go back to the PowerShell in the meantime, we tried to install WSL. And while it is getting installed, let me try sharing my screen back and start showing you guys some things about Maestro. And we can come back to Divya's machine once it's ready. Yeah, I think it is gonna take more time. Let me share back. If you can stop the screen share, Divya, we'll come back to your part and I'll share this.
Yes, sure. How to stop sharing?
Do you see the Zoom control windows?
Divya,
Yes,
at
I
the
can see.
top, it would be there, stop share.
Yes, right. I found it. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. So coming back to Maestro, right? Hope you're able to see my screen now. So you would have seen that I had run this command. I had an older version of Maestro. Now it got updated. Let's see what's the version. It's just a simple command of like anything else, Maestro version. Are you able to see it? I think probably my You guys are able to see the command? Or yes, Divya? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thanks. Cool. Right. So now we do have the Maestro setup, and I'll show you a sample. This is sample app which Appium also provides, as in the UI kit catalog. I'll try to show you what how this particular thing works on. So you can use any specific editor. I am using VS Code for here, and there is no specific framework structure or anything that you need to put under this part and all those parts needed. You can design your own framework structure. Let me open one sample folder here. Okay, so we have the Maestro installed and updated. Oh, sorry, typos. Yeah, so you can see that the version number is now 1.34.1. There is something called a studio that is given by Maestro team, mobile.dev team, which helps us in identifying the elements. Let me show that. I mean, similar to Appium, UI inspector and other parts, right? There's a Maestro studio. So to run this, you need to have an emulator or a simulator or an Android real device connected onto your machine. You see that I have an iPhone 15 Pro simulator running. So it is trying to connect Maestro Studio to this device. So you see that it is open now. All it does is, similar to a UI inspector in Appium, you just hover around or just select the particular element. It gives you the exact, locator of that part. So it also gives you a command, so you don't have to, worry about coding and having no coding skills and stuff. All you need to do is just copy this. If you want to paste it here, you can do that. There's a AI also additional that is added here. You can do this, or you can go back to your editor, and you can do it from there as well. Okay, let me first show it here, and then we go back to the editor. So when you say just tap on, as the English says, it will just try to click on tap on. You see it's trying to execute, and over here the execution did happen, and it just went to the activity indicators. And there is a right check mark over here saying that this is all done. Similarly, you can select one more something else and do the same. Just do a copy paste, and it will try to execute again. Obviously, there will not be any tap action on this, so I'm expecting this to fail. So it says yes, but no action has been performed on the app, if you have observed, right? So simple part, what you can do is this: select this. You can either click on play and play it together. Let me go back to So you can play this together here, and you would see it now from the UI catalog. It clicked on activity indicator on my simulator, iOS simulator that you are seeing, and it is trying to click on activity indicators. So the similar part, you can try to export this completely and use this. One second. Yeah, so you see an app ID as null because the the app ID of the sample app that I'm using here is null. But if you are working on on a different real particular app, you will get an app ID. So how does it work when you do it on the on an file here is there are two parts on Maestro, as they also mentioned. I'll also go back to their documentation, right? Nothing that I'm doing it here. I'm just referring whatever they mentioned here. This is how you put your part, a particular first flow is you give your app ID and then you give all of your commands. And there's a separator by 3 dots, which is like the commands that are there before the separator are all about configurations. So any configuration that you want to do it should be before this 3 dot separator. Any actual commands to run the, to run a particular test or test steps, you should put it after the 3 dots. So you can copy this and just paste this. So you give your app ID here. The app ID of this one, which is currently there, is null, so it's not a good example. Let's try to use something else. Let's do the health app. So if you go back to the Maestro Studio, which is there, and just click on this, you can see that you can automate the iOS app as well with respect to just tap on health and stuff. It does give you that option to directly play here. It is getting executed. And now you could also say tap on continue. It would get executed as well. So now let's try to select them and click on export. Okay, for some reason the app ID is returning as null. Probably it's an issue at the Maestro part, which we should be able to report back to them. So you put those parts, you give your app ID. Let me see if I can get the app ID. No, this is not what I wanted. Okay, let's probably try with another app and see if it gives us the app ID. No. Give me a minute. I'm just trying to find the app ID of the health app. If anybody are aware of that, they can also unmute and tell that. Okay, let's go ahead and try to do this. Probably. Let's say null only, which is not correct, but let's do that. And say tap on after you click on health. Tap on continue. You see, I mean, it's basically text part. Maestro identifies using text, and you just need to give one. Tap on continue, something like this. You can give a single quote or you can either give a double quote as well. So all you need to do is now rename that file. as, right? You need to rename it as a YAML file because all the Maestro identifies is all about YAML files. Let's name it as, say, for some reason, Zoom is not allowing me to type something here, but let me, you give a name to this and save it. So you have your first flow sort of ready. And how do you run this is basically go back here and let me close this. So there's currently an issue with Maestro that if you have Maestro Studio running and you try to write something or execute a flow from your command prompt, it gives you an exception. That's the exception that you see here. So hence I had closed the Maestro Studio that was running. Okay, so how do you run the YAML file that you just created? Is just say Maestro test health.yaml. Right. So this is the first error, which is good. You see an error and you will be able to again understand what is happening here. Right. It says app ID is missing because we have given it as null. Null is not the correct app ID, which is good. Let's find out an app ID and try to work with that. How's your installation going on, Divya?
Yes, it's almost 75% installed. This SDK component installer, and on PowerShell it is installing Ubuntu, which is 20% done. Linux is installed. Machine platform is also installed.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to find an app ID.
Okay.
So app ID is nothing but in Appium terms, we give the bundle ID, right? So it's similar to that. Okay, I think we will have it ready now. Okay, let's try to run this again and see what happens. Launch app is the command that is used to, as it says, launch the app. You could see that it launched the Apple Health app and tried to click on continue. And it is successful now, right? So this is a simple sample part in terms of how, Maestro works with respect to, working with actions. So as I said, this is all the configuration section. This is all the execution section that you want to try to give. So if you want to put more configurations when you are trying to do with, a bigger project as such, like for example, if you want to execute only certain tests and you don't want to execute some other tests, right? I mean, like smoke, regression, those sort of things that we have. There is some other configuration which is called as tags. So you can tag different, different YAML files as per your choice. Like you say, smoke. So this is now tagged as a smoke test. So when you are trying to run your test, you just say over here as include hyphen tags and give your tag name. Okay, that's also present in their documentation, so you can pretty well search with it. Yeah. So it's the same command that I just showed you. It would be present under the under this part as well. So all the other commands that you want, like, if you want to insert something, let's find out something as, yeah, this is something as insert. Let's try to run the studio again. Any questions so far, guys? Okay, so I generally believe if there are no questions, there are two scenarios. Either you don't understand.
Avinash, this side.
Yeah. Yeah, Avinash.
Few things means I'm new to the Maestro, but was working with the APM. So what is the key difference that you find in Maestro and APM?
So as I was explaining you,
tagging, is it linked with Cucumber?
Yeah, so as I was explaining at the start, Maestro is built on top of Appium. So it is using Appium at the backend of their code, of the Maestro's code. What are the benefits? You can do it with lesser code, right? With Appium, as you pretty well know, you can use 5 to 6 different languages, right? Over here, you don't have to use any language. As we can see, it's just all tap on, and we were just doing an app ID and stuff. With Appium, it's not this easy. Even for this, health app that we just showed and couple of actions. With Appium, you needed to set up Appium server. You needed to set up the Appium part, set your capabilities with respect to give your bundle ID, your device ID, and all those stuffs. Nothing is needed, right? It was just 2 minutes of thing to find out your app ID, put it here, tag it. You don't need a test-ng integration or JUnit integration, all those parts.
Yeah,
That's
it seems
the major
like
difference, I would say.
locator finding are the things which are very easy here, right? Which is a major issue there in the mobile automation.
That's the other part, but I'll say a bit cautious here because with Appium, I mean, I'm a big Appium lover myself. Okay, I've been using it for many years. It does provide many different options to find a locator, right? But over here with Maestro, it is all based on text. So if there is no text or if there is no semantic label attached to it, it will be very difficult to find out that or work on that locator, as we see here. Okay, so you see tap on optional is displayed, right? Just as an example of what we were talking. This optional text is present here and as well as all of these parts. So if I say tap on optional, it will not find out the exact part, correct? So with Appium, you could say, use an XPath, or you can do something else to, navigate. Some sort of a similar strategy is being planned, and some things are already rolled out by Maestro. Is similar to XPath. You have something as you understood the first name. So there is a command called as below, above, so sort of those parts. So if I
Something like
say
Selenium 4.x, similar to that, is it?
yes, sort of. So you can just say, let's say, let's use tap on and then try to enter the context later. So this is ID, and now I say below first name and try to execute. It takes a lot of time to execute this part because it's not straightforward, right? You need to, similar to XPath, right? So it did not tap on because it was trying to see where to tap. Below tap first name meaning something here, which is not there, right? I mean, you'll not be able to see anything there. So let me find out the other command, which is there here. There is command called as insert text as well, but to identify the locator, that's the major problem. If you had a you know text attached to it, then you can, otherwise the coordinates, again, as we all know, coordinates is not the right part, right? So you can say this, but that's not how you should do it using the codes coordinates. So that's why they had given, the below, above, and I am not recollecting the exact command to go to the next one, but let us find out. I mean, the documentation is pretty decent and you should be able to find. Yes, Mang, you were saying something. Hello.
Yeah, Mayank, you have some question? I think we can ignore Subhash.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So similar to, again, XPath, as you see here, there's an index 2, right? So index 1 and 2, wherein in XPath you give the indexes. Similar to that as well, it is there. So you can say tap on optional, but need to mention here is say it as text optional and then say index. One thing to uh, note here is this is all YAML files, as we were seeing here, right? YAML files are very particular about indentation. You might be aware with GitHub Actions and using the YAML files there probably. So they are very particular in terms of how you use the indentation. So if you keep this text one level back, it will not work in as it will just throw you an error. So keep in mind about the indentations that you are using. So you see that it has tapped on this part because we gave index as 1. So similarly, if I say index as 0, it will tap on this. This part you can do it, right? So let's copy this. You can use export or you can either use copy and put it here. Right? It's pretty straightforward as you see. You say text and you give whatever you want to enter. Say Divya, I'm using your name because you are trying to help me. So just try to do this, and now let's go back and try to run this. Okay, there is an error, probably because of this. Let's try to get that and then fix what is happening there. No. So what is happening is about the tags. Let's go to the tags later on. As you can see the error here, it says no string argument, which is matching the string value as smoke, because we have just given the tags, but we are not using it anymore. Let's come back to that later on. Another error, okay, which is good. Yeah. So as I mentioned, right, this is what happens if you don't give the right indentations and the right commands, because YAML files are pretty very particular about indentations. That is not something there on Appium. You can see the compilation errors because it is not a language which supports compilation, right? Maestro, as we were talking about. So that's why you don't see any compilation errors, but it will throw you an error later on. Unrecognizable field, which is good. Let's go back to this and ask, this is exactly what we were using, correct? Let's see why it is giving an error. Yeah, I was using insert text. It's actually input text. My bad. Hope you guys are following. I would have expected somebody to tell that, because when we went here, it said input text and we were giving as insert text here. Okay, it failed at this moment. Does anybody want to explain why? If not, let's move ahead. So the field that we were trying to enter to is on the next screen, not here, correct? So we needed to click on continue one more time, and then you would be seeing this screen. So we clicked on continue on the first screen, but not on the next screen. I'd reiterate, let's make it more interactive and ask questions if you have anything, and stop me wherever you see. You see
Subhash,
that? Yeah.
wait on feature is there. Do we customize the wait feature element to be erased? Because as you click on
Yes.
continue, it take good amount of time to switch.
Yes. So as with Appium, right, and this is also built on Appium. So as with Appium, it is quite fast, and in Appium we have to give the wait commands and stuff. With here, you don't need to give it, because it is built in such a way that it waits for a certain period of time before trying out the next command. That's why you don't see any waits here. But sometimes, yes, when you're working on a live app, on a live production, your own project, there needs to be certain amount of time that you needed to wait. At that time, all you need to do is they have a command as wait as well. Let me not try out myself. Ask them. There is a as an animation, because there are animations on a lot of apps, right? So you use wait for animation to end, and it will do that. You can also use extended wait until is similar in Appium terms. Wait until an element is displayed, right? You can use the asserts as with TestNG asserts and all those parts. Correct. So this is a simple flow that you are trying to enter the first name and last name, which is present here. So I am expecting a question. Why am I entering the text over here? Can I make it dynamic? So yes, you can. What you need to do is basically Maestro supports JavaScript and you can create some other JavaScript files besides this. Let's say something else as like this, okay? And you can write your own JavaScript inside this. So imagine sometimes you don't want to enter Divya all the time here, right? You want to enter, say, because it would throw you an error that it's already added. You want it to a random text for that. So all those parts you can definitely you can definitely enter that. Yes, Divya, let's also check that with respect to index 0. We were giving a we were getting a different error. So let's see what it gives with index 0. It gives us an error because we forgot to remove the weight. Okay, you see on the first name it has entered Divya now. So Sheetal is asking about Appium. There are a lot of resources around Appium. It's an extension to Selenium. Selenium is web and Appium is for mobile apps. Amol, I see your question. How is the adoption of tool? Let's go by one. Adaptation of the tool is basically it's in very early stage currently. Maestro, they are also building and it's an open source. They have a GitHub repo similar to Appium, right? It's an open source. Anybody can go to their GitHub repo, see what are the current issues, and if you want to, solve any of them, you are more than happy to solve that. Is Tide use this internally? How many checks are onboarded using this tool? Yes, we are using this tool internally for doing a POC to for our mobile app specifically. I cannot show my mobile app right now, because of the obvious reasons. But yeah, there are a lot of checks, obviously, because if you had heard me, we are a fintech, and as it goes with any banks and any fintechs, there are a lot more checks with respect to the legalities and stuff. So we did that. All the legal things are cleared. If it is cleared on fintech, I believe on any other apps as well, it will be more than happy to do that. Concerns about the reusability of same component again. Is it possible to embed or call other YAML file from main file? Yes, that's coming up next in my, how I was trying to do that. Reusability, yes, because that's a good question, Amol. So there are many times in specific apps where we want to, reuse or say log into Gmail and log into any other app and try to do a few things there. So you don't want to write all of that in every particular YAML file. What you can do is create an YAML file here, say as login.yaml. Okay, put all of the commands onto the YAML file, and in your main YAML file, you can say run flow and give the path of the subflow that you want. I mean, I'm calling it as subflow. That's what they also call it as. The initial steps of the login. You can put that as here. Let me show that too. I'm removing this command so that we can see how that works as well, right? We have put all of the commands here on the login. So we can say this login.yaml. Is this a right directory structure that is there? Anybody can try to correct me. Okay. And login.yaml. Let's now try to run this again and see what happens. So it did launch the app and it is doing the exact same steps which we were trying to do through healthy YAML. So, similarly, you can do all those parts. You can see the commands that is getting over here. After coming here, you can also do the next, any other actions that you would want to do it. So this is how you use the, reuse the components. Amol, hope that's clarified. Sheetal, why we use YAML? That's basically the framework of Maestro that they have developed. Maybe I cannot comment on why we use it, but that's they've kept it for the simplicity, because for YAML files, you might know that it doesn't need any sort of additional configurations to run, right? For example, if you are using Appium for, say, right, to run a particular file, you need to put up test.ng, an XML file. From the XML file, you go it and put it under Gradle or anything else to run that particular XML file. All those parts are not needed here. So YAML file is similar to an XML file. You write all the commands here, and you can run the YAML file from here directly. Of course, you can put the command of Maestro test that I'm executing here onto a Gradle plugin and do that as well. Hope that clarifies, Sheetal. That's the purpose it is trying to solve in testing. Great, Divya. So whatever we just tried to do, you can follow it at your own pace as well. If the installation is finished, try to install Maestro as well using the curl command that I gave you. So this is how you run a subflow. So similarly, you can put your JavaScripts here. The JavaScript can have anything, random text generators, random number generators, even a code to execute few things on the app here. You can put everything that's there inside a JavaScript. You can as well put a data, you can just put it as a JSON file, something like this. And you give a key to the JSON file, say health details, right? Something like this. And you can as well put your first name and stuff. So all those parts, you put it under the JavaScript file. You can call that here again as, let's go back and check the exact command. I'm not good at syntaxes, which you might already be knowing about. So okay. Right, so similar to Selenium or Appium, we use execute script, right? So it's the same as execute the script here, or you can say run script. Okay, and whatever you put it under the JavaScript file, that gets executed, and the values that are present here, again you can put it under the random. You can put it under as an output from there. Okay, let me probably try to show that too. Any questions here? This is just an a sample file. So we are exporting the value. This in JavaScript, you are exporting the value that is being generated in this function. So you can use this and put it under over here in simple terms to use the data dot value. So If you try to do this, what it does is go to this, find out what is the value that is being exported, and that value will come into the YAML file and will be. I'm hoping that will be getting inserted here. Right? Should we give that a try? Good. That we are seeing some errors, right? Okay, so it says invalid command at the time of input text because whatever we are trying to give here is not right. This part, the passing of the variable is not correct. So let me pull that out and show that as well. So before getting this value, anybody knows why this is not executed? Okay, so we have kept the things under the JavaScript, but we have not executed the JavaScript itself, right? So eval script is their command. If you go here and say eval script is their command, which Maestro suggests us to use it and put it over there with respect to executing any specific JavaScript file. So once you enter the eval script and then you say input text, the value that is present, then it would give you the exact parts. I'm moving this as well under the subflows so that we have everything at one structure. So similar to creation of frameworks, right? So you can create your own folder structure, framework structure that you want. Okay, does this look good now? Okay. Speak up. I'm still trying to make it more interactive so that making mistakes and somebody understands that and raises their hand. Let's try to run this. Cool. Again, some other. Yeah, Shekhar. Okay, probably let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. So flow file does not exist here. Do you people recognize what is the error? We say, we are under the login.yaml and we are
Subhash,
saying,
let me mute everybody and then you can unmute yourself. There's some background noise, okay?
Sure.
I think you can unmute yourself now.
Cool. Thanks, Aditya. So we have mentioned that, try to search for this file, which is called as input.yaml. It's actually not input.yaml, but input.js. And it's also trying to search for input.js under the subflows. Input.js is under subflows, but login.yaml is already under subflows. So it is trying to find, as the error says here, right? Inside subflows, it is trying to see another subflows and then find out which is not the right structure. So you don't have to worry, it gives you all the errors that you want. Okay, some other error again, right? Which is good. Okay. I think this is the command. Let's go back and search to see if it's the right command for the run script. I'm pretty bad at the exact commands. All I do is maybe go to the documentation and run it because we don't want to remember the commands, right? So yes, now this is the right command as they say, run script without the quotations. Again, some other error. This is correct, I think. Are you guys following any inputs from your end? What mistake that I'm trying to make here? Or rather, I've already made here? No? Okay. Is this file present? No. So yeah, you can go through this documentation. They do give us, other parts as well. You can. You can like mention it like this too. So if you want to pass on some environment variable, you can pass that as well. But let's first fix what is happening here. It says invalid command, no mapping provided for the YAML command. Let's go back to their documentation. What does it say? It says the same. Okay, but the gist here is that you can put everything under the JavaScript file and try to run that. You can do a subflows and execute the subflows. I'm just trying to see and at another place with respect to how do we execute that. This is exactly the same that we have also done. It's just not able to find the file that's there. That's the error. Okay, failed to parse the file as you see. So it is.
It is looking at the previous folder. I think it's double dot, right?
Correct.
Over to the soft close. So which means you should place the input.js like above the soft close folder.
Well, thanks for that.
Last time check.
Yeah, I'm almost done from my side. Just this last part, if
Sure,
this
sure.
gets executed, we are good. This is what you mentioned, right, Prem Kumar?
Yes, yeah. Right now the error is changed, right? Because the file is getting
Yes.
picked. So yeah. After that, it is something related to the tool. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be something related to the JavaScript that I'm using, but I think this is correct from the JavaScript perspective. Anybody who's the JavaScript experts can correct me, but to my knowledge, this is correct.
Sorry to ask, for example, so right now we use some text and use some put index over there to identify the elements, right? Apart from the visible text, is it possible like using the elements ID or name? Example, if it is a hybrid application where the application is calling some the uh, uh, actual HTML page, so instead of the native properties.
Yeah, I'll answer that. So the mistake that we were doing is there was a half-baked command. If we just gave run script and there's nothing mentioned there, so that was the error basically on the main YAML file that we were trying to run. Okay, so you can pass the data over there. With respect to the locators frame, unfortunately, no. So, Maestro is heavily dependent on text right now, and maybe the below and above commands that I told you earlier with respect to, how do you use those below above commands and how do you, uh, you know, use the index commands to exactly find out the places. But apart from that, at this moment, no. To give you some context, as we are also, reaching pretty close to the time check before Aditya tells me about that. Maestro had just launched their, the first version of it in September 2022. And, so it is still in very early stage with respect to what it is being done. So that's one of the other catching points, and that's the reasons why it is not supporting any other locator strategy currently.
Yeah, fine, understood. Yeah. Thank you, Subhash.
Yeah. So, yeah, Divya, were you able to proceed ahead?
No, actually, that curl command still is giving error.
Okay. No worries. So overall, what we were trying to see is basically, you can use the app IDs configurations and the executions part. You can pass, add a JavaScript file and, pass it that to the data files. You can do a subflows and, execute that subflows for your specific requirement. Any app that's there, you can certainly do it. It is quicker, easier, and to do this. Yes, errors will come. That's exactly how we have seen it. One thing I forgot to show you. Let me share the exact part. Is that it also records the flows, right? So let me do that too. So instead of say test, you can just say record, and everything that is getting executed here gets recorded, and there will be a video file that gets generated and showed up to you. Just before closing out, a couple of other things to note specifically is you need to integrate few other things when you talk about the holistic automation approach, right? So you would need to check the cloud executions, reporting parts, and all those stuff, correct? So right now, no other cloud providers like BrowserStack or Perfecto or any other parts are supporting Maestro because it's at a very early stage. However, the good news is that they do have their own, cloud. This is my cloud. I don't want to show you the exact parts, but this is how the reports are displayed. I cannot go inside and show you, what's happening there, but every night you can schedule it on their cloud, and so you see the reports and you see the video recordings and everything that gets displayed there. That Maestro Cloud, you can integrate it with anything else that you want for the reporting dashboard, or you can create your own reporting dashboards as per your liking, pull out the results from there and publish it, or maybe integrate it with your Slack that this execution is done and stuff. Any other questions? I think we are just 2 minutes away from that.
Thank you so much, Subhash. Sorry for interrupting, but then we are a little ahead of time. So can you please stay back with us? There are a few questions that are there on the chat. Would really appreciate if you can kind of answer them over the chat.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. And really enjoyed your demo.